Hello guys, this is Manohar once again and you are watching Techsmithy. So friends, in this video let's discuss about SQLite database and implementation of the database in Android. So basically SQL system, database system will be having four types of languages. They are DDL, which means data definition language, DML means data manipulation language, DCL means data control language, and TCL means transaction control language. In Android, we will be discussing about DDL, DML commands. So basically DDL commands in Android involve creating a table, dropping a table, altering a table, rename a table and all. In DML commands, we'll be having selecting a table, inserting data into the table, updating the table, deletion of the table and etc. So in Android, we'll be having SQLiteDatabase. So in order to implement SQLiteDatabase in Android, we'll be using cursors and all. So we can use many. You can use many classes to use SQLiteDatabase, but SQLite database is the class where database is defined. In order to retrieve the data, look, if you insert a data into the SQL table, there will be no return type, right? But if you select some data from the table in a database, you need some object to capture the data which is selected from the table. So for that I will be using cursor. You can use many. You will be having open helper, db helper, you will be having many, but I am using cursor. So basically in a database, tables will be in the order of tables, right? So let's implement an example in Android. So in Android Studio, I'm having activity main.xml and MainActivity. So here let's take two plain text. These are in a relative layout. So take two plain text. So I want to insert name and age. So I'll take some number. Okay. Set this with to match parent. This to match parent. Okay. And give a button. Give a button here, saving add to database. Now it's look cool. Here let's take off this text field, give it an int name, give this a hint age. Okay. So in the main activity, let me give the labels also. Name, edit text, age, edit text, add button. So let's go to main activity. We are having two edit text. So let's take edit text. We are having two variables, right? edt1 and edt2. Okay, you need to import that class. Alt enter, and you are having button, right? Button btn1. Okay, you need to import even this class. Okay, let's fix the views. edt1 is equal to find view by id of id dot name edit text. edt2 is equal to find view by id of r dot id dot age edit text, sorry, age edit text, btn1 is equal to find view by id of r.id.add button. So now that the views are created, we need to have a database, right? So let's take a database, SQLiteDatabase, some db. Now the database is equal to open our create database. So this method actually creates the database if the database is not present, or opens the database if the database is already present in your application. So let's give the database a name, some Techsmithy, and the mode is mode private and factory set to null. So now our database is created. So we need to have a table in this database, right? So in order to have a table, let's create a table, db.execute SQL. Now this method runs the SQL command in the database. So create table users, sorry, create table if not exists users of. So I'm taking name, right? Name varchar of some 50 and age int. So once I'm set with my database, so now the table is created. So if I press the button, we need to access the data and we need to set the data in the database, right? So for that, let's set the on click listener, btn1 dot set on click listener of new view dot, sorry, on click listener. So in the on click command, first you need to validate the data, right? If edt1 dot is empty, okay, dot get text dot toString dot is empty, so it returns a boolean value, or edit text2 dot get text dot toString dot is empty. So it actually checks the database, it actually checks the edit text fields whether they are not empty or not. So we don't want that, so let's keep a negation there. So if both are not empty, then it should collect the data and it should store the data in the database. So let's run the SQL command, db.execute SQL of. Let's insert into, what's the table name? Users, right? Into users, values of. So I need to get the value of name as well as age. So for the name, we'll be giving a double quote, a single quote, plus edt1 dot, okay, just give me a minute, yeah, plus edt1 dot get text dot toString plus, yeah, it's all. And we need to give another data also, right? So let's give it plus edt2 dot get text dot toString plus, yeah. Now here it will be taking the data from the second text field, which is age, and here it will be taking the data from the first text field, which is the name. And finally we will be closing this with a semicolon. So once if the query is executed, let's create a toast message. That and data entered. So let's run the application. Let's run the application. Later on we will be seeing the selection command, selection query, updation, deletion and all. So this is my emulator. Let's check whether Gradle build will be taking time. Okay, let's wait for it. It's taking too much time. Okay, meanwhile I'll be telling you the updating command and the deletion command so that you can try. So for the update command, update users or update table name, update the table name, set some column name. Some column name is equal to data where column name is equal to data. This is okay. Let it be data 1 and then. So here in the table, if the column name, it may be age, data, anything. If that matches this data 2, then that column name will be converted to data 1. That's actually how updating command works. Next, deletion. Delete from table name. It just requires where column name is equal to some data 1. This is the deletion command. The selecting command will be select star from table name or select some data 1 from table name. It's actually table name. So these are the basic queries. Okay, let's check whether it's still building. Let's wait for a while. Taking too much time. So look, now here I got some error, right? Here the resource is not found. So if you get any error like this, just go to build and click rebuild the project. It just rebuilds the project and refreshes the resource files. Here still the build is going on, that's why the error goes off. Don't worry. Cool. You might skip this part. It's taking a hell of time. Yeah, it's about to complete. It's about to complete, I think so. Meanwhile, if anyone are interested in latest tech news or want to be notified on latest tech news, then please follow Techsmithy, and the Techsmithy app is going to be uploaded soon. You can check it out. You can get notified on stuff there. Okay. Okay, it's taking time. Yeah, it's installing the APK. Thank God. Yeah. Yeah. The application launched it, right? So now that there is no database created here, it will be creating the database, it will be creating the table. So I'll give the name Techsmithy, age is 2 years, and let's click add to database. So data is entered. You got the toast, data is entered, right? So how to retrieve this data? So you need to retrieve the data, right? So for retrieving the data, let's create another activity. And then another activity, create an activity, empty activity, some main to activity. Okay. It's actually there. Okay. Let's do one thing. Data retrieve activity. Activity data retrieve. Okay. Let it sync. Meanwhile, I'll be telling you how I'm going to retrieve the data. So I'll be getting the data from the database, and it will be stored in an object. It's called cursor. I'm using cursor. You may use anything. So in the cursor, I will be storing the data, and from the cursor, I will be putting the data into a list, and I will be populating the list into a list view, so that you will be getting the data from the database into the list view. So for that, I'll add a button here. Firstly, I'll add a button. It's actually too slow. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let the build to complete. I'll rename this list the data. So list button. Okay. I'm giving the activity. So I'll go into that activity. I'll create the on-click listener for that one also, and I need to create the variable for that, right? So I'm having two buttons here, so I'll be give button 2 and I'll define the button here. btn2 is equal to find the view by id of r dot id dot its list button. Cool. So upon clicking this button, I need to navigate to the data retrieving activity. So in this btn2 dot set on click listener of new view dot on click listener start activity of new intent of get application context comma data retrieve activity dot class. So it will be navigating from this class to the data retrieve activity. So here what the thing is, I need to have a list view, right? So let's define a list view here. So I'll define a list view here. Let's change this view to relative layout. Relative layout. This to match parent. This is data list view. Data list view. So here let's create a list view. Some lst or data lst, and let's create a list of some string. It's not actually list, it's list. Yeah, let's import the class some list. Okay, here again you need to have the database, SQLiteDatabase, database DB. So here you need every time, each and every activity you need to access the database. So for each and every activity you need to open the database and you need to create the table if necessary. So first let me define the list view. Data list is equal to find view by id of r dot id dot data list view. So next you need to, for each and every activity you need to open database. So the database given there is Techsmithy, and the mode is private and the factory is set to null. You need to actually create the table again. Let me copy and paste this there. It won't get wrong if we do this. So I'll paste here. So if the table doesn't exist, it creates the table here. And let's initiate the list. List is equal to new array list of string. That's it. So now I'll be taking a cursor some c is equal to db dot raw query of select star from users comma selection args are null. That's it. So the data that is selected from the cursor, that is selected from the table, will be in the cursor. So let's do one thing. Let's create a while loop of c dot move to next. So actually this method iterates through the data in the cursor, and it will be collecting each and every data. Once if the data is over, the while loop will be given with a false statement and it will be stopped. So here let's create a string. string sum s is equal to name plus c dot get string of 0. Actually this gives the data from the first column plus \n, this is the new line, plus h plus c dot c dot get string of 1. So this gives the string from the second column. So now my string is generated. I need to push this string into the list dot append or add list dot add of string s. So I'll be storing the I'll be storing the string into the list. So I need to create an array adapter. Array adapter sum a is equal to new array adapter of this comma android dot dot layout dot simple list item 1, and you need to pass the list into it. So the list view, that is data list, should be set with the adapter a. Now that's it. Okay. That's it with the creation of the cursor and the retrieving data. So let's run this application now. Again, it takes some time. Let's wait for that. So let's wait for the application to run. Actually, I need you all to try the updation command, deletion command by yourself, because it makes you easy by doing the tutorial, right? Simply you need to just write the queries, and you need to add the buttons or the triggering events for these the so-called queries. Okay. If you have any doubts regarding these queries, just place a comment. I'll give you the solution to it. This Gradle build is even taking time. It's about to complete, I think so. Yeah. Again, I got this same error here. This relative layout, this resource. Okay. Let's wait. So if you want any tutorials regarding the Android or a specific topic regarding Android, please ping me on YouTube or Facebook, so that I can try to post the tutorials regarding the topic. Okay, it's taking time again. Okay, so let's discuss something about the list view. Okay, it's completed actually. Yeah, it's completed. Okay. Okay. You have already inserted the data in the previous trial, right? So let's insert something. Techsmithy 1, the age of 3 years. Add to database. So data is entered, right? So list the data. See, you are getting a stringlet name Techsmithy, age 2, name Techsmithy 1, and age 3. So it's actually like this. Okay, let me run this like this. We'll be getting a clear view. So let's run it again. It makes you feel comfortable with the view. I think this won't take much time. Let that complete. Yeah, it's completed. Let's insert some more data again. This time I will be inserting Manohar. So age is 2022. Add to database. So data is entered. So let's list the data. See, we have given the data just now, right? So you got the data from the database using the cursor. So like this, you can actually add even more buttons here. Just I did add to database. When the add to database button is pressed, you will be running the insert data insertion query. Like that, you just try to place two more buttons which is used for delete and update, and just put the on click listeners and try to execute the updation queries and the deletion queries. It's a bit easy task, right? So if you like my tutorial, like it, share it, and subscribe to Techsmithy. Thank you.